Welcome back for community resilience. I don't even mental health as social control. We're in the last part of chapter 1, where we introduce radical mental health, and I'm on a roll. I'm only going to be doing chapter 1 today. I will pick up and do the last of this, but I mean there's like 3 more chapters and the conclusion later this week. Okay. Here we go. Radical mental health. While the influence of the American Psychiatric Association bleeds deep in the veins of the United States, there are many alternative and ways to combat their convoluted hold on all of us. One of these methods is that of radical mental health. The term radical is defined as a change or action relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something far-reaching or thorough. Radical mental health is a concept rooted in the belief of holistic treatment for people's minds, bodies, and spirits as a complete system. Radical mental health is about interconnectedness. The radical mental health model, juxtaposed to the current mental health model, serves as a foundation to expose the lack of individual agency and experiences around mental illness. While mainstream conceptions of mental health and illness reduce people's experiences into brain chemical or personal histories, radical mental health sees human experience as a holistic convergence of social, emotional, cultural, physical, spiritual, historical, and environmental elements. This is all from Mindful Occupation resource packet that the Icarus Project, now known as the Fireweed Collective, put out. Okay? This dichotomy between the total human being, the fragmented psyche, and the body has inspired action and movement to people defining their own experience around mental illness so that individuals can choose treatment that is best for them. Radical mental health is rooted in community-based support. It is not that we are not left to deal with everything on our own, but that things that support our well-being can come in many different forms. Adding the growth and strength of individuals and community comes from interconnectedness. We struggle and celebrate together always. We do this by conversing and sharing with one another. Radical mental health examines the way society shapes one's behaviors. It is not about trying to fit into a narrow definition of normal, which are always wrong anyway, because every culture, every group, every place might have its own normal. This model is about new languages and cultures. Language is powerful. It can open the world up like a sunrise, and it can block out the sky like prison walls. We must not accept labels and terms used to cage us in our bodies and minds. We must reclaim our experiences rather than blindly accepting the meaning, usage, and truth of political leaders and news stories. We have an obligation as citizens of a democratic state to question, critique, and understand the language given to us by those who claim to represent our interests. The radical, that is from Collateral Language, which is a book, A User's Guide to America's New War, okay? The radical mental health movement illustrates the success of support groups started locally that now span the globe, connecting the creatively maladjusted. That's a quote from MLK Jr. These people are gaining momentum and spreading awareness needed to reclaim personal agency over our minds and bodies to ultimately overthrow corporate and governmental powers. One of these groups is the Icarus Project, again now known as the Fireweed Collective, founded in 2002 by 2 consumers diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The vision of the Icarus Project is to envision a new culture and language that resonates with our actual experiences of mental illness, rather than trying to fit our lives into a conventional framework. We believe that we have a dangerous gift to be cultivated and taken care of, rather than a disease or disorder to be cured or eliminated. By joining together as individuals and as a community, the intertwined threads of madness and creativity can inspire hope and transformation in a repressed and damaged world. The Icarus Project website offers a safe place for people to share their experiences. The website is full of many different resources and local radical mental health information, so communities can come away from the virtual world and interact with one another in community-based venues. This was the model I used when I funded my mental health groups after this thesis was published about a year later, I started doing mental health groups in Skid Row with the model used, and was teaching folks about oppression versus individual blame. Okay. The global Mad Pride movement was influenced by Icarus Project. Based on the same fundamentals as the Occupy movement that exploded in 2011, Mad Pride is a social movement demanding an end to the occupation of the mind by embracing, empowering, and celebrating diversities of humanity. This movement rejects the current mental health model and examines limits of pharmaceuticals by acknowledging the systemic oppression of those with mental illness live with while demanding individual agency towards collective liberation. This movement is about understanding ourselves in every moment, being connected to each other and our environments, and having a comprehensive understanding of what we need individually and collectively. The beauty of this movement lies in the diverse means of information sharing and community building. Mad Pride is centered on reclamation of the terms mad and crazy, and encouraging those living with mental illnesses to challenge the stigma of mental health by promoting and celebrating our uniqueness, our creativity, and our beauty. This movement promotes unity and liberation by providing spaces for us to come together and reject being labeled, caged, or letting our experiences be controlled by anyone other than ourselves. The theoretical and practical foundation of the Mad Pride movement allows people to explore and define their traumas, experiences, creativities, and treatments in their own language. The current mental health model does not allow for systemic criticism and instead constantly identifies labels and treats individuals by saturating the citizens of the United States with marketing from Big Pharma. For example, California was the first state to implement mandatory vaccinations. California is the first state to criminalize health in this way by limiting our wellness and individual freedoms. Okay, remember, this was back in 2016, so this was before the pandemic, okay? This is the continuation of the police state. This is an attack on individuals. This is a form of psychiatric slavery hiding behind the language promoting concern, care, and personal safety. Psychiatric slavery rests on the denial that the person with the psychiatric diagnosis is a person with the ability and right to make decisions about their own life. To this, the doctrine of psychiatric slavery, adds to the lie that psychiatric imprisonment is hospitalization. That is from Zaz Liberation by Oppression. The radical mental health model ensures community-based, community-led, and community-driven organizing and action to reclaim spaces, places, and us within our communities. However, the concept of radical mental health itself must be challenged. Is it really so radical to demand community health? Community health referring to the health status of a defined group of people or community and the actions and conditions that protect and improve the health of community. I'm so tired of reading. I only have like 2 paragraphs left. Those individuals who make up a community live in a somewhat localized area under the same general regulations, norms, values, and organizations. If it is a radical idea, we must ask ourselves why. An investigation into who has the power to implement solutions must be made to expose how the current mental health model is flawed. This examination will highlight interconnectedness of the government, doctors, pharmaceuticals, and support groups claiming to have best interests in mind. We must question their motives, and we must demand community-based solutions. Last paragraph for today. By understanding the complexities of the current mental health model implemented in the United States, we are able to scale down to a micro level and examine how these policies are harming the community of Skid Row. Skid Row is the microcosm of failed mental health policies in this nation. That is not to say that the residents of Skid Row lack agency. In fact, the resilience of the community of Skid Row is monumental and against all odds seems to thrive. Okay, chapter 2 is called A Glimpse into Corruption, Los Angeles Politics, and we will go over that when I feel ready. I think I'm going to be done for today. I think that was a lot, but that was the intro and chapter 1. Okay, have a good one.